Where you're at in the world. Again, I am Phoenix Rose, and we are here for Tantra for Healers, the online mini course edition, day 3. I'm super excited that you all have been joining in and following along. As you've heard by now, Tantra is one of my favorite modalities to play with and experience as a healer. We've covered some really beautiful topics, such as, the energetic anatomy, using energy for clearing and opening, the spiral heart opening practice that you can use for yourself and your clients. And you've been following along in the saga of my neighbor drama. Let me just give you an update today. Well, the update is that I'm moving. I'm going to move to a house in a neighborhood that feels a little bit safe. And some people were like, oh, I'm so bummed that they're winning. They're not winning, because what's true is that I have chosen to walk inside of my heart. I had a little bit of that protector, hardened heart energy come up, like we talked about yesterday. But I'm choosing to meet this with such love and a soft heart. Y'all really helped me feel and see myself yesterday in the practice. And I feel like interacting with challenge and hate and judgment from a surrendered, soft heart is the thing that creates liberation for all of us. So if I have to be the one to do it, I will be. I'm good at things like this. So I'm really enjoying feeling my field today. It's nice and silky and surrendered and open and available, and it feels so nice in here right now. Maybe you just want to take a little feel so that you can touch in somatically to the experience of my energy body right now. I'm feeling really resourced and regulated and still. Yeah, and it's really a beautiful sensation to feel. I hope that all of us can experience this type of regulation more and more and more in the world. And that's part of what I want to talk about today. Today's topic is, let's see if I can get the page, attunement mastery. So we're going to be talking about attunement and what that means. This is going to be more of a transmission style conversation. And I'll be sharing some tools and tips with you on how to reach for attunement. Again, it's a superpower. It's really simple, but it can be so complicated depending on how much trauma, pain, unawareness we're holding inside our energy body. So we're going to be going deep into this topic today. Now, what do I mean by attunement? Attunement is the ability to tune in to somebody else's or your own system and to be able to translate accurately what it is that you are sensing and feeling there. Again, so simple. It's a mystical practice, but to be informed about somebody else requires that their form come into your form. Their energy body has to come into your energy body for you to be informed about them. Inform. And you can only be informed about somebody else to the degree in which your energy body is clear and able to receive them. So I'm just going to move this camera down a little bit to get more in the frame. So if you have trauma, which all of us do, the form comes in, but it hits, again, all those frozen places we've been talking about. And your information becomes skewed based on your numbness, your frozen parts. Again, trauma is frozen energy in the river of flow that's usually there. Almost always it's there, because when the original trauma occurred, it was too overwhelming for you to process on your own. And so your natural intelligence chose to trap it, isolate it, and keep it there until you have enough resource and regulation to begin to touch into it and restore it. So, form, right? This is where, as a healer, we have a lot of responsibility to tend to our own systems so that our form is open enough to be able to receive another's into our space. If you are a healer with a messy, convoluted form, which I have been. I have been and I still am. I still have places that need to thaw and unfreeze. I've been doing a lot of work on it in the last couple of years. I feel more available than ever, and I can still feel little micro bits in my system that are hard. And I want you to get a sense of that in your own system now. Going back to the first day when we were tuning into movement and non-movement. So I want you to close your eyes. Feel into your energetic space inside your body, outside of your body. And I want you to scan for movement. What parts of you are moving? How do you get a sense of the movement in your system? Where is that movement located? And now I want you to get a feel for, to scan for places inside your energy system that are not moving. They're stuck, they may be dark. The energy is not feeling as active there. And take a scan, notice where those places are inside your system. Yeah. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if you feel called to share some of what you noticed in the chat, would love to see how you perceive that, what you perceived, what's going on in your system here today. And yeah, feeling a little bit of hardness on the side of the heart, kind of speckled movement and unmovement, moving more on one side than the other. Yeah, exactly. These are all really great things to begin to tune into. Again, we're tuning, Tantra is all about becoming subtly aware. So the more we can feel inside ourselves, the more we can feel one another and the planet, and then the world transforms when we're attuned with one another. A lot of trauma happens from a dangerous misattunement. Misattunement is not being able to feel somebody else, feeling separate from somebody else, not being able to accurately read a situation, projection, judgment, opinion. All of these things come from a lack of attunement, which is a lack of awareness, which is all stemming from trauma. If trauma were not in our system, our data streams, our energy bodies would become one. They become intermingled. We'd be able to see and sense everything. But because we have trauma, we become separate. We become disconnected. We can no longer feel the unity field that we all are a part of. So when we restore trauma, when we heal, we become more and more unified as a collective, more and more resonant, coherent, more and more in the know of what's going on in any particular moment because we can feel it in the collective energy body. It's really cool stuff. This is really mystical stuff. I love it. I have been navigating deeper and deeper layers inside this healing potential. It's been really, really cool, really, really transcendental. So simple, so complicated. Like I said, life is this beautiful paradox. It's beautiful, it's challenging. I call it brutiful. Brutal, beautiful. Brutal. Life is brutal. Yeah. So this process of attunement is learning to sense into, well, your system. It's really important to be able to attune with your own system because then you can do this healing work inside yourself. And that's the whole point. We want to clear your system so that you're more available for the world. But it's also the practice of feeling another. So I love this practice. I call it feeling you, feeling me. And I learned this through studying with Thomas Hubel. He combines trauma science and mysticism through a somatic approach. Now, there's the somatic experiencing school, and they have their version of therapy. Thomas takes somatic experience and adds in empathy, attunement, and the mystical element. So, in a somatic experiencing experience, the practitioner is going to guide you to feel yourself, and they're tracking and inviting you to feel yourself. And the approach of feeling you, feeling me as a practitioner, as your healer, I'm guiding you to feel you as I'm feeling you with you. And when somebody is inside your pain with you, it begins to transform. Again, that pain is there because it was too overwhelming for you by yourself. So when somebody shares it, that's when it needs to melt. almost 100% of the time. Almost 100% of the time. Our wounds are relational. They need to be healed inside of relationship. So we have, again, this axis of becoming, the central channel. Becoming is our connection to our divine purpose, the divine, the collective. And then we have the horizontal line of belonging, right? And we need both of these things to be intact in order to have a healthy, vibrant life. A lot of us were hurt in either one of these, and some of us in both of them. Again, the basic human rights are being, belonging, and becoming. And if these are not intact, we have a whole life filled of symptoms and healing that is needed. Attunement. The more you practice, the more you get it. This is, again, it's a mystical thing. It's not, it should be inherently available in all of us, but our world teaches, it desensitizes us, it trains us out of this deep feeling. Because if we were deep feeling while walking down, let's say, the New York subway tracks, it would be overwhelming. It would be too much because our field is so open. So we've learned to close it down, diminish, filter in a lot of ways. And it's creating a disconnect in humanity and a disconnect from the planet, which is becoming kind of devastating on a mass scale. All of the trash and the pollution and disease and violence around the world. So again, this process is really simple. It can be something along the lines that, say you were sitting with me as my healer, and I say, my heart is really hurting today. You would say, tell me what that feels like. And I'd say, I feel this hard knot. It's dark. It has a, not quite a circular shape, but maybe like a triangle or square here on the right side of my heart. And it's just hard. It feels kind of protective and angry and da da da. Right. You would describe the somatic experience of this hard part of my heart. And you, as my practitioner, would be allowing that energy to come into you in a way that you're feeling it too, so that you could reflect back to me, oh yeah, I noticed that when I feel your heart into hurt, yeah, it does feel dark, it does feel protected. And I get a sense that a part of you feels like you need to be on guard. And when I tune into this area, I notice that the right side of your body tenses as if you're bracing for a fight. And you would take it to the next level because you're accurately perceiving what is here and going into the experience with the person. Right? You're going into the experience with them. So this is a beautiful, beautiful art. You might have experienced this. I experienced this. The first time I had actual attunement, I had a family dynamic where attunement was almost 0% available. They are just not aware. They don't do trauma work of any kind. They're not on a self-development path, and they do not know better. But for me, as a highly sensitive, deeply feeling human, that was completely isolating, devastating, lonely, and terrible. So the first time I received actual attunement, I was 33. I was 33. And people my whole life had been saying things along the lines of like, oh yeah, I really feel you, or oh, I get that. But when I actually was felt, I realized that I had never experienced it before. I was like, oh, they are telling me that they are feeling me, but they're not actually feeling me. They're not actually in the experience with me. They're not actually sharing my pain. And then the empathy is kind of wah, wah, wah. Subpar, right? So this experience of having somebody inside of me reflecting me to me with me was the coolest freaking thing. It was so cool. I love it. I now strive for that in all of my relations, but I'm having to teach people because it's not a common skill set anymore. But at the same time, our world would heal if it was, this deep sense. So I recently worked with a leader in the community. People had been sharing with him how his leadership was impacting them adversely. They were feeling violated, run over, disregarded, like it was missing some type of trauma awareness and sensitivity. And people kept trying to explain what they were perceiving to him. And I could see as he was really, he's a leader, he wants to heal. He was really trying to digest what they were saying because he wanted to make the changes. But it was as if the energy would like come in and just not land, poof, not land. And I got to experience this up close one day, and we were having a healing interaction. And I was like, wait a minute, there's that energy. There it is. It's all in the front of your body. This is what everybody's been trying to tell you. I hadn't had a personal experience of it yet because he was new to me. But in this moment, I was up close to it. And what we realized one is that this man was deeply, deeply missing attunement. Attunement and precision are the same thing to me, right? The more attuned we become, the more precise we're able to be inside somebody's system. And, attunement, I would say, is like bigger picture work. Precision is doing the deeper energetic cleaning that would be relative to doing the deeper work of like moving the couch to clean underneath or pulling out the fridge to clean behind it, right? It's a little bit more precise. So when we're in the energy body, we can do big layer stuff, or we can get really, really deep into a place inside that needs such refined precision, right? So that's the masterful advanced level. So this man, this leader, was leading hundreds and thousands of people and missing precision. He was missing the step. Even when he came to interact with me, I was like, I really need precise work right now. And he said, oh, I'm not good at that. And then we uncovered this whole trauma layer inside a system that we've been working on for weeks. He was frozen. He had all of this ancient trauma from not even from this lifetime that was inhibiting him from being able to see and sense others. He thought he was seeing and sensing others, and to the degree in which his energy was available, he was. He was. He was not doing anything wrong. But there was so much unavailable energy from this huge frozen part of his field that he was missing the mark over and over and over again and hurting people. We discovered it's the energy of the patriarchy, right? This whole numb layer that enables somebody to go in, let's say, and bulldoze land and create a building. They're bulldozing the land, they're just running it over because they cannot feel the land because they are numb, destroying all the life, not hearing the animals, not giving care to the natural habitat, right? And just paving over it. That's how the energy was presenting in his system. That was not his intention. He's a lover of humanity. But because of this trauma, he was literally bulldozing people. Now he's not. Now he's aware. He has to become more precise. And he is devoted to learning that because he is a leader. And that is our responsibility as leaders, is to clean out the stuff in our system so we can show up for one another more skillfully. And that's what precision and attunement is all about. So when I'm giving a healing session, I can do this type of work in Tantra, having a conversation, sort of therapeutic. I can do it with their body, with my hands on them. I might do something. I've taught you a couple of chakra practices. So I might start a session by opening up the auric field, doing a chakra connection, doing that big layer work. I get to feel into their body. I get to see where the openings are. I get to prep the energy system for me to go in deeper. And then usually people are coming to me because they have a symptom of some kind. So I'm going and I'm exploring that place with them. Usually it's a place in the body. I've been working on a lot of shoulders and hips lately. And exploring that. So if I were to work on a shoulder and hips and I'm having my hands on the body, what I would do is I would use my fingers or my palms to feel, again, where the energy is moving in their system and go to the places where it's not. Right. And I would use whatever type of touch my attunement told me to use in the places where the energy is not moving to see if I can invite it to open. Right. And I do this over and over and over again. If you're in your 30s, 40s, most often by now you've done a lot of big picture work. And so you actually need more precise, detail-oriented care. But younger generations, a big picture experience might be totally fine. But for me, I'm needing somebody who can get into the tiny little crevasses in my system that I can't see because I've done big picture work. I do it all the time. Right. And I want somebody that can get all the way into the crack and feel me in the deepest part of my soul where I've been completely abandoned for thousands of years. And I want them to feel that place with me. And it might be this little speck inside the energy body, like a hair on the floor, on a pristinely clean floor. And inside that hair is a whole universe of energy that's trapped. It's so cool when one tiny little spot reveals so much life force, which is why precision is so important. It's easy to see when we do a big layer how much life force gets freed up, but there's so much life force in the tiniest energetic distortion inside our system. So much becomes available when it opens, and that's what makes this work really cool and magical, right? There might be 1,000-year lifetime inside a speck of tension in the energy system. When you get to this level, it is so, so, so fun. I love it. Oh, precision, right? It's precision and attunement. That's what we're talking about. It's something that needs to be practiced. People in our world are really lacking in empathy. People might use the words of empathy as like, oh, I imagine that feels really disappointing or lonely. But they're not actually connecting to the feeling. I can feel in your system when you share this story with me like how stressful it is. I can feel that movement up your core. I can feel the destabilization in your legs. I can feel how your heart is longing for connection, but it's opening and closing because the world hasn't been safe. I can feel all of that, and I'm reflecting it to you, and I'm here, and I understand, and I have so much compassion for what you're going through, because I can actually feel it. And I'm not just telling you I can feel it, I'm actually feeling it. And that level of intimacy, profound, so profound. Again, it's what I live for right now. And it's not rare, but it could be more commonplace, which is why I'm sharing about it with you. This is a really, really important relational piece that can transform your intimate dynamics with your lovers, your partners, your spouses, your clients, and your friends, or even the stranger on the street. If you offer a little bit of attunement to that homeless person with tears in their eyes and their hands outreached for some money, if you can feel them, right, they might feel less alone in the world. They might feel motivated to live for another day. I know being felt helped me overcome a lot of difficulty. So I'm really passionate about teaching this right now. Attuned will be its own workshop so that these relational skills can be practiced. Again, today is about giving you the information so that you can begin to adopt it into your life. I invite you to find a partner or a friend to practice this with, feeling you, feeling me, and have them share something that's going on with them while you feel it, and take turns and see how accurately you can tune into their system and reflect what it is that you're noticing about their pain while sitting with them. It's really cool. Totally transformed my relationship in the last couple of years. We were able to do this a lot. And when we felt each other, it could dissipate so, so, so much. And part of the issues we were having in our relationship came from misattunement, frozen parts in the energy that were bumping against each other, creating dissonance and conflict. And because they're frozen, we can't feel them again. So this is the place where unfreezing, unthawing our energy is so important as a healer and a leader, so that we can feel our people that we're here to serve, so that we can feel the planet that we are here to serve. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna stop there for today. And kind of wanted to give you this transmission opportunity to practice. This is what I would consider one of the most important parts of leadership and becoming a Tantra facilitator at this point in time in my life. And so I want to sprinkle the awareness into your fields. And thank you so much for being here today. We're going to continue to go deeper. We have 2 more days left. And again, if you're wanting to go deeper with this work, have some upcoming events this weekend, Tantra for Healers, getting your hands on each other to practice this in real time. And then going even deeper from there in May is Red, and Red is the my tantric practitioner training for people who want to learn how to use tantra in a healing capacity, erotically, non-erotically. It is a sexual tantra experience. Doesn't mean people are having sex. We're just working with erotic and sexual energies. It's not a play party, but it's a mystical play party, which is my favorite kind. Healing play party. And that one is much more of a deep dive, super intimate, super fun and sexy. Highly recommend. Again, it's my favorite offering. So you can find those links. We'll share them with you. And I hope to see you there.